Each one of us have got one lock and 100 keys. These 100 keys are keys to or for lock for others. People come and meet you. They have a problem, which I call it as a lock. If you have a key which is fitting in their lock, you should immediately open their lock and set it free.
Shristi, let us know a little bit about you.
I look up to him and see what is better that I can do. And whenever I'm lost, I'm like, okay, how would my dad would have done that? And I was always taught the world is yours. You can conquer it. Just go out and do it. So that's the philosophy I live my life with.
See, in the end, as Yogananji has said, that there is only love. There is no other emotion which can make people connected to you. And your love's resource reservoir inside you will never dry. Today, I'm proud to say that I'm a father of 10,000 daughters.
Any point in time where you would have felt that, you were trying to give her the best possible advice, but there was a time where you felt that probably she was not as receptive to.
See, each one of us have to fight their own battles. So Shristi has had her own fair share of internal demons, battles, where when you are in the position of figuring your life out, I don't think that the parents should mollycoddle and lead the path. Love is not negotiable. The moment you start negotiating, there's no love anymore.
Is there a Sunday, cooks off and dad taking over the kitchen and cooking a meal sometimes? The
No,
longest.
that doesn't happen.
I can only do Americano coffee very well, and I stop at that.
Your dad were to go on a date with your mom, where would he go? What would be the setting of the date?
To be honest, we have never been out without Shristi.
Where do you feel that this is the path which seems the right path?
I will tell you my secret. So my secret is
Welcome to another episode of Kin and Kindness, where we dive deep into relationships that transform us, journeys that shape us, and moments that connect us. I am Shubhani, and this is Punya, a dear friend of mine and also a renowned career counselor.
Thank you, Shabani. So guys, we today in the house have two absolutely exemplary guests. We've got a true visionary, solid businessman, a very, very empathetic and spiritual individual, and somebody whom I proudly call as my mentor. I have Mr. Sooraj Dhawan. Welcome to today's podcast with us.
thank you, Shibani and Punya. It's a pleasure to be here, and I would look forward to chat with you.
Thank you so much. And we've got Suraj's daughter, Srishti Dhawan, with us, who's a very, very creative person. She's very mature. She's very sensible. She's very, very sweet to talk to. And she's a doting daughter to her father, Suraj. So welcome to today's episode.
Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction.
So, Soorajji, welcome here. And if I can start with the beginning. You're such a dynamic man. You've always been such a great success in life. What was your childhood like, and what was that one place which really turned it for you to, do something in life?
See, honestly, that moment has not come so far. If I do a look back in the last 55 years, I still find myself as an internal student, still learning, still figuring it out, what will happen the next. And I don't think I've got that moment where I have figured it out that, look, this is what it is, this is what I want to do. And I am evolving every moment.
So during this journey, in this journey of evolution, what is the answer you're really seeking?
Honestly, the purpose of what we are doing keeps on changing and evolving every moment in life. I would always ask, could I have done this better? And I do make mistakes. And if I make a mistake, I would say, okay, I should not try to repeat it again. But if something has gone wrong and I can correct it, I will not wait for tomorrow to give it a shot. I would like to correct it there and then. So this entire journey, which has taken place so far, has been very magical, and lot of things where people would say it was impossible, it could not have happened. The spiritual forces have said that you enjoy the journey and you will have good fun time.
Which then leads me to ask you, you have a very spiritual connection then.
I would say again, I am learning. What will be the end? I do hope it goes to a fantastic end, which I am aspiring toward.
So, spiritual journey, Suraj, I've understood, everybody has their own understanding, their own path. I understand that. But somewhere there is a quest in you, and there is a quest of excellence, is as what I've, read up on you a bit. And I've understood that everything you do, it's with so much clarity and so much focus, almost like a game changer. And that 100% has to come from a place of great connection, along with understanding that there is more to your life. Can you still, for the viewers, where do you feel that this is, as you said, this is the path which seems the right path?
Okay, so for your viewers, I will tell you my secret. So, my secret is that planet Earth is a training academy. And God has created souls and they have uljhaud him in Maya. Each one of us is given a series of tests every day. And the spiritual forces are evaluating us in each of those things, how we handle the tasks, with the viewpoint that a few of us would be able to be taken to the next level. And most of us would keep on being born and reborn again so that the God's Training Academy can find a select few who could be taken to the next set of more complicated tasks. This planet Earth is in a self-sustaining mechanism. I also call it as an abandoned planet that
Wow.
God has got not too much interest in it anymore. But it is still working, and a few people amongst us do get upgraded to the next sense of more strenuous responsibilities. So whatever we do every day, it's a series of tasks. My task is different than your task, different from Srishti's or Punya's, but it's a task. And how you handle that situation to say, each one of us would like to have a good task, easy task, but often that is not the case. You are given the worst tasks because God is testing your mettle. And this entire journey, the moment you understand that I have these tasks, I have to fulfill them, you feel relaxed. And to answer this, I feel I have this story which I talk to myself that each one of us have got one lock and 100 keys. These 100 keys are keys to of a lock for others. People come and meet you, they have a problem, which I call it as a lock. If you have a key which is fitting in their lock, you should immediately open their lock and set it free.
Fabulous.
Someday, someone will come to you and look at your lock, and you would say, this lock, I had this key, so let me open this for you. There are no expectations and no reciprocity required in life. You don't have to say, I'll do this for you, you did this for me. Not required. You do this for anyone, and somebody will do something for you. And that is what the journey of life is all about. So, no expectation.
Fabulous.
Beautiful.
Couldn't have put the whole kindness in a better way.
It's very difficult to fathom, how somebody with such a clinical business mind can also have such a soft and spiritual side. At least when I look at people, I generally tend to compartmentalize them. You have these real softies who are only talking about life and philosophy, etc. And then there are people who are absolutely devoid of emotions, and they have to put up a very strong front when they're at work. They're studying these clinical theories, but Mr. Suraj, you have an excellent fine balance of this emotional philosophical side to yourself and this super academic, astute business side of yours. So I would, because we've been talking a lot about spirituality now, I would like to go back a little bit and understand the other side of yours. So if you can tell me a little bit about the journey of, everybody knows you as this super successful businessman, but it'll be nice to understand some milestones in terms of your career journey or academic journey that has also helped you keep that side afloat as you maintain a very strong spiritual side. So for the viewers, where did you study? What did you do? How did you set up your business? What are the various gears that you're driving currently?
So this is a very complicated question. Each one of us has a unique set of circumstances. Like for me, I was very lucky to have a super smooth educational career. DPS RK Puram, SRCC, IM Calcutta. In quick succession to say that, okay, this is where we are training you for. But the question remains, training for what? So I had a decent academic career, and then we started dabbling in international trade. And today we do exhibitions in India and all over the world. I have been working very closely with the entire world who has given so much to me. So now I am giving it all back to my school. We are doing whatever the school would ask for us to do. With IM Calcutta, I am now helping them create an incubation center and take it to the next level, where startups could come and say, this is my idea, this is where we are looking at funding. If there's something to be done, it should be done the best. And I stop at that.
So there are usually these threefold paths. In different languages, in different philosophies, it's spoken differently. But curiosity, excellence, and service. So it seems that curiosity must have been your childhood. Excellence, you really did cover your entire education as well as the journey in the corporate world. And now, would you say that you're in the phase of service?
Difficult question again, because I feel that what is coming next very moment, you don't know.
Nobody knows.
So I don't like to
Really
feel super
categorize
relaxed.
it. Yeah.
I don't like to say, having done that, there is no sense of achievement where I would say, okay, this I did. The only thing which I would like to be remembered is that I played my role well.
Wow.
So there's a very famous Sahir Ludhianvi song, which I use this to tell my teams
Love to know.
from Kabhi Kabhi,
Mm-hmm.
that मैं कल पल दो पल का शायर हूँ.
Oh, wow.
And my kahani is only pal do pal. So after 2 days, I will ease out in life and nobody would remember me. And that is what is required for us to realize that nobody would remember you 50 years later. And I know this very well. So I tell everyone, and I ask this question to you as well, that can you tell me the name of your grandfather's grandfather? And 9 out of 10 people say we don't know. So in 3 generations, people will forget you. But whatever you can create an impact on this planet Earth, do this without a real expectation, without saying, please notice me, please do this for me. There should not be any requirement to say that I'm doing this. I'm doing this because it was required to be done, and stop at that.
How beautiful. So Suraj, it's so prevalent in the workforce industry where employees are shifting gears. They're working in company X today, they're working in company Y, and it's a two-sided street where the employee needs to give in their best to an organization, and the employer needs to be also cognizant of the needs and of the employees. I've had the good fortune of working with you all 3 years of my college, and then a full year after I graduated and did a gig in the finance industry, where I still remember that there were the people that I worked with, my colleagues in your organization. Somebody was working for 8 years, somebody was working for 10 years. And I have been in touch with some people, and what I hear that they're still working with you, which is absolutely phenomenal, which aligns with what you just mentioned about service, doing things unconditionally and not having expectations, which is where you build those bonds and people continue to be within your ecosystem and contact sphere. So I would love to know what has been that, secret, or not really a secret, but steadfast efforts that you have been able to expend or exert in this domain to ensure that you've been able to have such a consistent workforce in your organization.
See, in the end, as Yoganand has said, that there is only love. There is no other emotion which can make people connected to you. And your love's resource reservoir inside you will never dry. Today, I'm proud to say that I'm a father of 10,000 daughters.
Wow.
There's so many people in the world who would treat me as their father and will get the same love and affection as they would have got. And there's so many people who are actually desperate, who are having very tough times. Their tasks are very difficult.
True.
And if you can make them comfortable, and if you can tell them that, look, I'm there, do whatever you feel like, it gives them a reassurance that we can be very powerful because somebody is behind us. And that is what I would feel makes a big difference in how you handle your relationship. If you make them very transactional, then you have a transaction. If you make them originating for love and affection, then transactions are just routine activities you would do, but you are a part of a larger ecosystem through several generations, lifetimes, that you come back and meet people again. It's a never-ending journey.
Suraj, what I've understood in this conversation from you is that while you have understood that life is just, to come and do a certain karma, do your duties, and, you're so clear on that. Is that the reason there's so much space in you to have this unconditional love? Because you're not there to, it seems that what I'm picking up is that you're so clear on your journey of duty that it gives you the space for love, unconditional love. Am I understanding it
See,
correctly?
I feel today that showering unconditional love makes you feel relaxed. The moment you start thinking of doing anything with an expectation, it will create asakti, it will create a lot of things because you are now only focused on the end goal. But if you enjoy the journey, if you do good, serious efforts, you will get a fair share of success of your life. Each one of us should shine in their lives. Each one of us should have their own moments where they can tell the world that this is where I was at my best. And then move on.
Shristi, such beautiful gems we are receiving. Let us know a little bit about you, your studying, and how has it been raised in an environment which has such ethos and such clear direction in life.
Well, when I was a kid, I always used to say that I want to go to the school where my dad went. So I was very sure that I wanted to go to DPS East of Kailash and then RK Puram. And then when I was in 12th standard, you usually give in all the exams that are there, right? So I gave the NIFT entrance exam. And I was like so scared. I don't know what is going to happen or what is not going to happen. And then my dad was like, it's a lottery ka ticket. You might get it, you might not get it. But well, then I got in, and interestingly, all the questions, the general knowledge questions on that exam was everything I had seen in my life. Like everything I came across. So that was the moment I was like, there is fate, there is destiny, there is something, some guiding force that's leading you towards where you actually have to be. And then my college journey at NIFT also was a lot of travel. So I never really thought it is going to be like that, but it was wonderful. It was excellent. So I started with NIFT Shillong. I stayed there for a week. And then I went to NIFT Chennai. But when I was in NIFT Chennai, I was 100% sure that there's this dual degree program at FIT and I have to be there. I used to envision myself in New York the very next year. And during that process, I think I got wonderful guides, professors who helped me a lot to reach there. And then after New York, I went to Venice on a study abroad out there. And when I came back from there, I ended up going to Pondicherry for my graduation project. So all of this, I think, has shaped me up a lot. And that is all because of the encouragement I've always got that, you take the leap. What's the worst that can happen? It'll all be great at the end. Just do it.
Did you think that there were certain things which you thought were normal? Like take the leap.
Yeah.
It was always there. You grew up thinking that must be the most ordinary statement to be made.
Yeah.
And did you see around you that a lot of people weren't, raised in that ethos of, you'll find that purpose, take the leap, take your shots, life is a lottery, which actually releases you from a lot of anxiety. Now it's half the world is anxious only because there are these goals we've put, and if we don't achieve them, then we get anxious, and then we are, the blame games begin, the judgments begin. Did you, at any point, have that realization? Oh my God, I do think a little more, a little differently because of the way you've just been raised. Have you ever come across that in your life? That moment of realization?
Like students around me while I was in school, they were all obviously very anxious and nervous that, oh, what is going to happen next? But I was always told to just take the leap, jump. What would happen? Like when I was 12, it started then. I was so scared, and my dad just went to this PTM and he was like, you know what? She does ballet and you should make her perform. And it was not butterflies I felt in my stomach. It was the entire zoo. And like, how do I do that? I don't know. And interestingly, my dad wasn't there. He and my mom went on a trip to Australia. So it was me all alone, and the people I would have looked for in the crowd weren't there. But I was like, it's okay. Don't worry. What could happen? But that was like a changing moment in my life. I faced my fears, and the performance was beautiful. And since then, I kept on doing it till I was in 12th standard. But it did give me a lot of confidence that, face your fears. You can just do it. You need some trust within yourself, but you can do it.
So, I remember, Srishti, having a chat with your dad many, many years ago. It was at some Sunday brunch or something. And I think you were still in grade 11 or 12 at that time. And I asked him, I said, what's up with Srishti? What is it that she's doing? And he mentioned that, she's sailing in 2 boats right now. She's also, gearing on one side to become a doctor, and she's on the path to studying medicine. And then she's got this super creative side to her. So, there might be a lot of clarity and direction, as I can evidently see that you have been raised with. And thanks to the, the values and the ethos that your family shares, you may know a lot, but you may never know enough. There's always, that's what economics is about. You're always trying to make choices, X or Y, A or B. So how did you finally decide that I want to study design, and how did you give up on that, super straight line oriented linear approach of studying medicine? How did you, because I would have probably understood that you took sciences up because your dad may have said, keep all your options open.
Yeah.
You should never have regrets that I didn't study biology or I didn't study chemistry or something like that. So just decipher that for me. How was the decision finally made?
I took biology in 11th and 12th because I really liked biology. But then my other subject was physics, chemistry, bio, and fine arts. So maybe in the selection of the subjects for the process, fine arts was there because I was destined to take design in the future, which I never knew. It happened unexpectedly.
Right.
And when it happened, I was like, I will go with fate. You never know. Maybe it's like a natural calling or something. And in my childhood, I always used to see my grandmother, my nanny. She used to make beautiful sweaters, oil paintings. So it was an art. It came in very naturally to her. And for me, I was like, now that I got this platform, so I should take it and let's see where it goes.
Sure. So anytime you faced any inferiority complexes because, you've got this super achiever dad here who the world knows and looks up to, and it's very natural, sometimes when I'm working as a college counselor with families, I see where parents have been very high achievers, kids have felt, sometimes have gone into their shell, sometimes depressed, sometimes just really wondering, what is it that I should do that I can, reach even half the level that, my parents are at. But you seem to, really own that sense of calm that you have, absolutely unperturbed by the success that your dad has achieved, not really gunning for numbers or that sort of fame. You're trying to do the best you can in your own unique way. So just help me understand, or help us understand rather, how that has been for you.
Well, it's always like an inspiration. I look up to him and see what is better that I can do. And whenever I'm lost, I'm like, okay, how would my dad would have done that? So that's what I do. And I was always taught the world is yours. You can conquer it. Just go out and do it. So that's the philosophy I live my life with. And if there's anything specific in my field also that I want to achieve, I'll give it my 100%. I'll act like I own it because I know in the future I can achieve it. So you just have to see yourself being there and then, actually act towards it. Work really hard towards it.
So Surat, there's a phrase, ghar ki murgi dal barabar. When you have the best advisors sitting at home, you have the best resources sitting at home, you don't want to leverage them, and you're seeking help outside. So here you are the best possible advisor that Srishti or any child rather could ever have at home. Any point in time where you would have felt that you were trying to give her the best possible advice in all nobility and selflessness, but there was a time where you felt that probably she was not as receptive to the advice, or it took her longer to reach that point of clarity that, okay, what my dad was saying was perhaps right.
See, each one of us have to fight their own battles. So Srishti has had her own fair share of internal demons, battles, where when you are in the position of figuring your life out, I don't think that the parents should mollycoddle and lead the path. It becomes very difficult for the child to say that I'm not able to meet the expectations of my parents. Ask them to think on their own and guide them that these are options, but that options can also again change in the future. What we have seen and lived in this life, you start with something and you end up with something entirely different. Does not matter. So saying that does not matter is very important.
Surajji, what I really did love was that while you have this ethos, it is also translated. Because when Shristi, you were talking, it was so symbiotic. Like whatever he spoke, and then after that, your journey had that, the DNA of the upbringing of that house. I would still like to, go deeper into, there have to have been some challenges, especially for a person who's already looking at life from a macroscope. It doesn't seem that he's a microscope person. But in the macro of it, there are own internal blocks, like you said. How do you get your head and the heart in the same place? Because while Shristi is your daughter, there is that emotional bond and you would want to protect her. But on the other side, you say, no, it's her journey. How do you start backing away while creating that space?
See, it's very important for you to develop a very good understanding with your superior force upstairs. And for me, the way I live my life, I would say, ये मैं कर रहा हूँ, संभाल लेना. And इससे ज़्यादा I have never done more than what is required. So rather than taking your energy away in having large expectations, look at small goals, give everything back, don't claim any ownership, is how I would like to live my life.
Beautiful. So Suraj, tell us about, who are the people who come within your immediate ecosystem apart from your colleagues and your immediate family? Who are the people that you feel you like to go out of your way to forge that bond, to create that impact, to make them feel at home or comfortable? Tell us a little bit about your
Each person
friends.
I would meet.
But somebody that you would land up meeting a little bit more regularly than the others, perhaps.
Very difficult to say who that one person would be, but my thinking is that there is no retake in life. So if you are coming and meeting and spending time, just live that moment fully, knowing very well it will never come back.
Did you know about this from a very early age? Because it's so embedded in you. When did it strike you? In your childhood, in your teenage years, that there's a bigger purpose here. and I'm not seeing it from the correct lens. And now start changing your mindset into understanding it's more about the goals rather than the desires. Was there a particular point?
I've lived this life like this all.
Wow.
Let's understand from you, Shrishti, who are the people who you really can call your kins? Tell us about your school friends, about college friends, about your cousins, about other people in your family who you'll end up spending a lot of time and celebrating your joys and sorrows with them.
I think whenever I'm happy, I would actually go out and tell the world that I'm really happy about it. And I would agree that every meeting you have in your life needs to be impactful. You can't just do it half heartedly. So if you're there in the moment, you should be there fully. You should make the other person feel valued, that they're there and feel loved. So I would go with him. That's what I've learned.
Wow.
Right.
And you see, when we are going for work for anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
you have to recognize a human whom you meet and not the role he is performing at that point of time. And if you have appreciation for that human, you have friends all over. And there are so many people in this journey of life this time that have just come back in life to sort out issues because they feel that they must do that. It is out of their sheer love and affection towards us or me that they are saying that this guy is struggling, so let us come and help them out. If we are giving everybody 100% wholeheartedly, the universe also gives you people wholeheartedly.
Could not agree more, sir. Could not agree more. I've seen in our lives, I think even the way we began this entire journey, the smoothness of it just comes because we were doing it from the heart with a clear intent and a direction which we had within us, but the clarity is coming more and more as we go along this
Absolutely,
journey.
yeah. So, Shrishti, there are two more women apart from yourself here who are very, very important to Sooraj here. That's your mom and your grandmother who live in the same house. So, let's try and understand, what is the role that both of them play in the day to day, functioning as far as, the daily dynamics go, and how do they both steer the two of you here towards being better individuals than what you already are?
So I think I've had soul contracts with everybody around me in my life. They've been invisible strings guiding you. Currently, at this stage of my life, my mom and my grandmother are actually like my best friends. I can just go back and tell anything and everything under the sun, unfiltered, and they'll give me the correct advice. So I'll just say at home, we're all best friends.
Super. So do you guys also go for family holidays together? Any recent holiday or a memorable holiday that you'd like to tell us where all of you guys got to spend a lot of time together, and even though it's an epitome of a perfect family, but you really felt that this time we are going super energized and we are even closer than what we always have been?
So for Valentine's Day, I took out my mother and grandmother and my two cousin sisters with me. So Valentine's Day was spent with them.
Girl power.
Yes, it was Valentine's. And recently we went to Calcutta. So it was everybody, my chachu chachi, my cousins, my dadi, and my mom and dad. So I think that was a beautiful trip. And I would look forward to more of them.
Right. So, Suraj, how do you, or do you rather land up being able to take out a lot of time, when it comes to family commitment slash opportunities to cement that bond? Or do you feel that at times you're struggling between, trying to balance your work with family?
See, honestly, there is no differentiation between work time and family time. When we are working with family members, and the entire world is about how we work and do our business is again with great friends. So there's never that stress of saying this is work time, this is family time. But there are at times that work expectations are high. A lot of people want to have more time of yours, and we don't disagree because if people need you, they need you for a purpose. I would normally try to strike a balance, but there is no, this is 3 to 6, this is 6 to 9. Wherever we can do this, we will do that. And for someone who feels that everything what is required to be done should be done there and then, daily life schedules could be very punishing for others. that how can you do this in a day? But if it is required, it should be done. And I do this with full passion. At times, Srishti and would feel that she's getting less time which I should spend with her. But then I know she understands that it is not that I'm just whiling that time away, but it could be a reason that I'm not there at home at what time she would expect me to. And she understands that.
So, Srishti, one last question. What are you looking for in a man who can be with you and help you in your journey, just the way your father had?
Well, all I want is unconditional love. The man I get married to should be respecting his family and he should want to be with me. So that is what I'm looking for. And I think fate will guide me towards it. I wouldn't have to put in a lot of effort because that is something that will come in very naturally. And I trust the universe. I will find somebody.
Oh, for sure. For sure. With such a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul that you have, there's obviously going to be someone right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, soul contracts. It's already written. It is going to happen. It's inevitable.
So it's so light then, right? It's so light then. You don't have to take the anxiety of kab, kahan, kaise.
I've never had that.
Right?
Yeah. I've
That's
always
lovely.
trusted divine timing.
Oh, fabulous.
Now we have the segment behind the closed doors where we are going to be asking certain questions to Mr. Sooraj about Srishti and vice versa. And through the answers, let's get to know both of them better. And let's see what is it that they do behind the closed doors. What are the fun elements that they have? What are the quirks that they have? What are the idiosyncrasies that they have? And what are some of the secrets also that they have? Okay.
Okay, Sooraj. What is one quality in Srishti that you secretly wish you had more of when you were younger?
Clarity.
Oh, good one. What's something Srishti does in her professional life that reminds you of yourself?
See the amount of dedication she would put towards a project to see that if I'm doing something, this should be my best possible attempt. No half-hearted attempts.
And what was one moment when she completely surprised you, personally or professionally?
See, that moment is yet to come.
What
Like,
is the
we have
second best
such an
moment?
intimate connection that all those big points of her life, we have taken them as they came, as if Srishti would have deserved them. Not saying that this was a real shocker or surprise. No, I have not had that moment till now.
Srishti, it's time to really surprise him now.
Time to line up suitors next week, and that's what's going to surprise him.
I don't think he'll be surprised.
This is a question, and I would like an answer to. What is something she believes in strongly that challenges your way of thinking?
She feels at times that I'm spending lesser time with family. She feels that I should never take the 5:50 flight to Mumbai and take
Which
the-
when I took last time, I bumped into him on the sixth.
and take the 2200 flight back, where I am saying that let me go for a day and finish and come back and sleep at home. I've never been able to convince her that why it is easier for me.
I think here she's trying to convince you.
Yeah, that it's better for your health. It's too strenuous to actually do that.
Now, if you had to pass on just one value to her legacy, what would it be? One.
Respect the human. Don't respect the post. Don't respect the role that human is playing in this life. Respect the human and the humanity.
How do you process emotions when it comes to your daughter? She's your daughter. I know everybody else on one side, the father-daughter relationship is on the other side.
See, the way we have our relationship, I'm not a superman to her. If I have certain weaknesses, certain things I'm uncomfortable with, I would tell her very open-heartedly that this is what I feel. And we've never had that moment in life where I would have said, you should not do this or you should do this. I say, okay, decide what is good for you. But I would feel that you could go that direction. But if she takes the other direction as well, it's okay. So I would often show my weak side to her as well, so that I'm not a Superman, what Punya is saying. I don't intend to be remembered like one.
What is the silliest or the most light-hearted memory you have of her as when she was a child?
When this ballet episode happened, she came and we had a major fight where she said, Aapne mujhe marwa diya. I'm not going to perform in front of my friends. I would look silly. And one day in office, I got a telephone call from Aarti, Srishti's mom, saying that I should speak to school and say, let's cancel it. But it never happened because I said, go and do it.
Oh, because you flew to Australia and it was also my 13th birthday.
See, the issue of her 13th birthday.
Something she is trying to tell
Yeah.
you, Sooraj.
I'm
And I
used to
think-
not seeing him at most family functions that at least I have also attended where all of us are there.
See, it
So
is
I
not
understand where you
because-
are coming
It is
from.
not because I don't want to go. In this journey of life, I'm often pulled into so many things which have to happen simultaneously. And again, I try to do my best to juggle. Like when he got engaged, I took a 4 p.m. flight, but I never told him that I'm not going to come. But I attended this and I went somewhere else as well because it was required. But I feel that when people want you to be there at point of time, if you can do it, you should do it. Money is not important. I'm happy to go to Bombay and meet someone for 30 minutes and come back just because they had invited and they were expecting that you should come for this party. It's okay. Because if people want you to be in their lives, you should make efforts to be there in their life.
What does unconditional love and kindness mean to you? This whole episode is going to be all about what it really does. But if you really had to say it in one line.
Love is not negotiable. The moment you start negotiating, there's no love anymore. So when you are talking, doing things, agreeing, you should think with a joint vision, together purpose. And then these are planning discussions. There should not be any negotiations. If you do this for me, I'll do that for you. That is what unconditional love is.
Fabulous.
Thank you, Suraj. So time now, Srishti, for me to ask you questions. Question 1, what is that one thing that you think your dad does better than most business leaders that you've come across?
Just having the mindset of it can be done and it will be done. So there's like-
positivity and
yes,
optimism.
the positivity and optimism.
Brilliant. Okay. Second question. So Suraj is really known for his discipline and work ethic,
Yeah.
right? What's that one soft, quirky, unexpected side of his that, most people would not even guess? But obviously, because you live with him in the same house and, he's your father, you are privy to it more than anybody else.
So he loves watching movies, and when movies used to be a thing at the movie theaters, sometimes we used to go and watch 2 to 3 movies back.
I remember I have
Oh,
watched a couple of
wow.
movies. I have watched a couple of movies, with him when we were working together. He,
It's like a
used to
thing.
get excited. Okay, this movie is released on the box office. Let's go and watch it. And he would take his entire team. So
See, if that moment is there today, 3 hours, do it now. Don't say we'll watch it tomorrow, it'll never come back.
nice. So Suraj, what's the last movie that you would have watched?
Yesterday, Dil Chahta Hai.
Oh,
Nice.
lovely.
How nice.
So Delhi, Calcutta, first half, Calcutta, Delhi, second half, 3 hours. And I told her that I watched it. See, last 2-3 months, you are having a lot of Bollywood re-releases. So we are going and watching those movies. We went to see Kabhi Kabhi. Again, telling Srishti that 1975, how that world was.
It's
So
one of
she
my
went to
favorite
see
movies,
Kabhi Kabhi.
yeah.
And 2 weeks later, she went to Srinagar. And she stayed in the same hotel. And it was such a deja vu moment for her. She can tell you more about that journey and Kabhi Kabhi story.
Of course, because when we went to the cinema hall to see Kabhi Kabhi, I was like, wow, Kashmir is so beautiful. I have to be in Kashmir. Now that I've seen this, I'm envisioning myself in Kashmir again. And then 2 weeks later, out of nowhere, one of my cousin sisters, she texts me that, oh, do you want to go to Kashmir? and I told my dad, I am going to Kashmir. See, this has happened and it is very natural. And I went there and I relived Kabhi Kabhi in Kashmir for real.
This is such a coincidence because I went to Kashmir the first time, I think about 8-9 years ago. And for me also, the real compelling moment was watching Kabhi Kabhi and, actually going and reliving that. So it's such a coincidence that you mentioned it out there. And glad to know that I'm not the only one who actually goes and watches these year releases, because Ye Dil To Pagal Hai,
I to would watch
6 years ago, I had gone to see, and Kalona, who had released on the box office 4 months ago, and I was one of the only 3 people sitting out in that theater, and I didn't mind sitting it because for the love of cinema. So I'm glad to know that, he and I share this sort of a quirk. Okay, moving on. What's one childhood memory, Srishti, that you have of you with him, which makes you smile every time it comes up?
Oh, when I was in nursery and we had this Father's Day, so he had to come to school and he had to cook something. It didn't go really well because I ended up throwing up, but it's a very, and we have a picture of it because there were like photographers in school.
Right.
So it's like a very cute memory to have. And he's like, oh, well, there was effort and love, and I totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
How sweet.
So is there a Sunday, cooks off and dad taking over the kitchen and cooking a meal sometimes whenever, he's available, or you haven't seen that moment in the
No,
longest?
that doesn't happen.
I can only do Americano coffee very well, and I stop at that.
That's fantastic. Most of the world is right now on Americano coffee.
Like, I've never made any expectations that I can create magic in kitchen, but one day when I'll start, I can be the best.
Okay, Shristi, what's that one piece of solicited advice that he gives all the time, even now?
Karne se hota hai. That's his
Great.
advice.
Wow.
Great.
He even has a t-shirt that says Karne se hota hai, and he wears that.
Oh, nice. Was there a moment, Srishti, that when you rebelled or disagreed with him, and looking back, you're glad that you stood up for what you believed in?
I don't think so, because it's always like a conversation where he gives me the option. I won't even say he gives me the option. He tells me to think on my own, that I shouldn't always rely, and I should think on my own as an independent adult and make conscious life choices. So rebellion has never been there.
How brilliant, That's how, in fact, both Shabani and I, who are coaches, she's a life coach and I'm a career and college coach, the best way to function is actually empowering the other person in front of you. We are all there as guides to help each other, but that final decision needs to be taken based on introspection and self-reflection. So I couldn't agree, more on this. Yeah. Okay, so if your dad wrote a book, Srishti, which is titled How to Raise a Daughter with Grit and Grace, what would be the first chapter of that book?
Empathy. To feel emotions, to feel what the other person is feeling. So I think empathy would be the first chapter.
Beautiful. What do you think your generation can learn from your father's generation, and what do you wish they were to unlearn?
To unlearn, to actually have real connections and not the virtual ones. To actually feel every moment, every conversation, and actually bond with people.
So you think that your father's more like an outlier, that in the sense that most of that generation that your father belongs to comprises people that are not in the game for those long connections, but your father, slightly different because of his, where he lies on his spiritual trend. And if they were to learn something from the father, something that you really admire across your dad's friends and everybody else in the family who's probably from the same generation, what is that one quality that you really...
I think respecting everybody. That's very rare in this generation, because it's thought of like that if you're mocking, you're cool. But I think in that generation, there has been a lot of respect for everybody who's like elder to you and everything. But I don't see people in my generation usually respecting everybody. So respect is one thing.
Totally. You really hit the nail on the head, because all the kindness which we can keep talking about, but if it doesn't proceed with respect, then there is no kindness. Yes. Respecting each other, respecting each other's souls, respecting each other's journey. So important. I'm so impressed. You're such a young girl.
I know.
Got, isn't it?
That's why I said she's one of
Like, I'm
the
just sitting
relatively
there,
mature individuals that I've met. Yeah, absolutely. What is that one misconception that people have about your dad?
That he's really strict. I think he's a very fun person. It's only when you start talking to him, you realize that, oh, he's really cool actually.
So any one thing that makes him, crack up and, you get to see that cool, light-hearted side of his very often.
It's just striking the conversation, and that's it.
Okay, so you need to really know Suraj, at that level of comfort and depth where you can get the witty, fun, cocky side of him out. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think he'll make everybody comfortable, but sometimes, on the basis of looks, people would perceive that, oh my God, he's so strict, and I don't know how to approach him.
Suraj, do you believe you look strict?
See, I can tell you one thing. People who know me find me very approachable. Some of Srishti's childhood school friends are very close to me. And I would even have conversations with her friends without both of us even telling her that we are having a chat. And a very normal conversation where I'm not being taken as Srishti's dad. I am taken as someone, their school senior. So we do that. But whether the person is strict or approachable is how you know that person. People who know me know that I'm approachable all the times. And when they approach me, it is never something which I would say, I'm busy, I'm ignoring you, I'll find time for you, which I do try to find time.
Thank you. Srishti, if your dad were to go on a date with your mom,
Mm-hmm.
where would he go? What would be the setting of the date?
First, I want to know why is the question if. When the dad goes.
When Suraj makes the time to go on a date with your mom. Is that right now, Shubhani?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to be honest, we have never been out without Srishti. The entire...
Next time, Shristi, stay back.
See, not required because what is joy and fun without her? And why would we say that, look, there is a conversation where she's not involved? Everything is very openly transparent. So I've never been, in fact, if we go back in retrospective, we've never went out for lunches and dinners also because our working careers or the way the life which we are living are so action-packed that we never found a requirement to go out for a meal. But after this chat, both of us are going out for a chole bhature. We have agreed on that. And maybe we'll just leave after this.
Yeah, because we're searching for the best chole bhature in Delhi. So
Nagpal?
we've tried. So we're trying different places in the last, I
Quality?
think, 8
Quality
months.
is the
Yeah,
best.
we are going to quality.
Maybe we'll go to
Oh,
quality.
Quality is the best. Can't beat that.
Right, absolutely.
So we are stealing that 1 hour today also before I start my day again
Okay.
to go for lunch.
Great.
No.
Last question to you, Srishti. What does unconditional love and kindness mean to you?
For me, it is like once you start loving somebody, you can never unlove them, even if you've drifted apart. So that part of you would still love them. So that is what unconditional love actually means to be. That there's nothing like unloving somebody, even if you fought or you grew apart.
Never going back once you're on the path, on the journey to love and kindness.
It's nothing like you can never unlove them. Anybody, any relationship.
See, no door is ever shut permanently.
Yeah, those are all revolving doors.
Yeah. So
you
you don't have to say, okay, I'll never see your face again.
You might have misunderstandings, but you can never stop loving somebody.
Communication would not be there. Connection remains.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being on our show today.
It was so insightful. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful conversation with the both of you. While you have been extremely succinct in the way you've had a conversation, but it was even more has been Shristi. Has such a beautiful mind. And really, Shristi, all the best for you. And Suraj, you're already on the path. And I think you have found it and you're just living on it, is what we think.
So ChatGPT has a very interesting story when they're
Let's
done
hear
by
that.
analysis. So ChatGPT, Srishti is an expert astrologer on ChatGPT
And palmist.
and palmist.
On ChatGPT.
On ChatGPT,
Oh,
you
wow.
can do a
Okay.
lot.
So we can do a session for you after this.
Why not?
And a lot of interesting insights they are telling us about the future. Let it unfold.
Okay,
We'll keep that for the next episode.
super.
So if this episode hit you, it struck the right chord with you, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kin and Kindness. Follow us on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, where you will get updates about our subsequent episodes, about the fun reels and the bloopers. And we hope that you remain connected forever with the Kin and Kindness family, where Shubhani and I will see you very, very often every fortnight. So, this is it for today. See you soon.